A zoo on the outskirts of Tokyo. Today, an elephant was shown to the public for the first time. The elephant was brought from Sri Lanka to Japan to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations. President Rajapaksa is also in attendance. The connection between the two nations is growing deeper. In a hotel in Tokyo, a forum was held, introducing Sri Lanka's investment environment and business information. In the conference room, the president could be seen. One can imagine he has great expectations for Japan. At the forum, the governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka called for investment from Japanese companies.
And we open our doors for Sri Lanka's partners, particularly the friendly countries, and Japan being one of them, to come in to Sri Lanka and be a partner in our progress.
It's a nation that the deeper you know, the more you get attracted to. Any venture seems to succeed.
Sri Lanka is an island nation in the Indian Ocean. Around 20 million people live there. The Civil War, which continued for almost 30 years, finally concluded in 2009. One finds few traces of it these days. Economic activity has grown livelier, and growth continues to be rapid. After the end of the Civil War, foreign investment increased, with 2011 receiving double that of 2010.
We have the strongest government we've had in decades. Plus, the war is over now, and there's peace. There is peace after 30 years. So peace and stability, and political stability, has returned to Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka is also attracting attention from Japanese companies considering expansion. The biggest reason is the nation's geographic location, between rapidly growing East Asia and the Middle East, and to the south of India, which has the world's second largest population. Sri Lanka has signed a free trade agreement with India, meaning Japanese companies expanding there can trade with India without paying tariffs.
Is transshipment to India. So 50% of the business of the Colombo port is transshipment to India. And we have direct shipping links to the entire eastern, western and southern seaboards of India.
FDK, which entered Sri Lanka in 1991. It manufactures coils used in electronic components and parts for fiber optic cables. FDK's executive director, Mr. Seto. He tells us that Sri Lanka isn't just a base for exporting to India, but also has an attractive, well-organized power and water infrastructure.
As for Sri Lanka's electric power situation, they don't have momentary power shortages and planned blackouts like India does. Not at all.
In the factory, 700 Sri Lankans were working with intent expressions. Another attractive aspect of Sri Lanka is its highly educated labor force and strong affinity toward Japan.
There's no way we could operate in the long term without worker quality. So I'd say the foundation of everything is the quality of the labor force.
Mathale, in the central part of Sri Lanka. Here, there is a factory belonging to the Western-style tableware manufacturer Noritake. 42 years ago, with increasing demand for Western tableware, they expanded here. Adhering to the skills taught to them by Japanese workers, around 1,000 Sri Lankas are at work. However, each year, the business environment surrounding Western-style tableware grows more and more severe. With changes in lifestyles, the number of people who buy expensive Western tableware is decreasing. By concentrating its production in Sri Lanka, Noritake has been able to maintain its primary business dating back from the company's founding.
It was just right. The quality of the workforce. Also, the labor costs. Because this was the best area overall, we still remain at this place.
Produced with high quality in Sri Lanka and shipped around the world, Noritake's products are well loved by many. These products are now being sold in an unlikely location. This is a shop in Colombo, Sri Lanka's largest city. Looking inside the store, we see customers picking up products.
I know that the quality of Noritake is very good. It's world famous, and we don't get such good quality in India, so I'm taking it with me back home.
I've been using Noritake for many years. My mother used it, then she gave me a beautiful Noritake dinner set for my wedding.
People from surrounding countries like India and Pakistan are buying the tableware as souvenirs. Sri Lanka has always been blessed with great resources for tourism. With the spread of peace, more tourists are coming in. Visitors from India, with its rising wealth, are increasing especially rapidly.
Thanks to our predecessors' diligent work in expanding the market, the Noritake brand has made some inroads with elderly Indians. And if tourists double, our business grows with them. It's a phenomenon that has been going on for around the past 3 years.
By bringing together Japan's technological prowess and Sri Lanka's production capability, Noritake's products are reaching consumers in growing emerging nations. There's another force behind these developments. A popular seafood restaurant in Colombo. The biggest draw on the menu is the locally caught crab. The owner of the restaurant is Mr. Munidasa, half Japanese and half Sri Lankan. Mr. Munidasa uses Noritake tableware in his restaurant.
I try to use as many Sri Lankan products as I can. And since I'm half Japanese, I look to Japanese companies. The products Noritake makes are very good, and I want to show people that there are great products in this country.
Day after day, the restaurant is full of people. He tells us that he receives offers to open restaurants abroad.
Now the restaurant has become known internationally. I get requests to open franchises in countries like Singapore. I'm working on that at the moment.
Mr. Munidasa tells us that he will definitely bring Noritake products with him when he expands overseas. You're busy with a lot of things, but would you want to use Noritake when you expand abroad?
Of course. I plan to bring all of the brands I use here over.
Mr. Munidasa tells us he knows of an interesting event and leads us to a certain place. It's a hotel in Colombo. At the entranceway, a stream of luxury cars comes through and drops off well-dressed people. In fact, this is a fashion show held in Sri Lanka. Celebrities from all over the country gather here.
I don't think anyone knows there's this kind of thing in Sri Lanka. Now that things have become peaceful, development is full speed ahead. I'd like to see Japanese companies come here with Sri Lanka as a gateway to India.